You're tuned into the GrowMail Podcast. I'm Sergio, Director of Marketing at GrowMail. Across from me is our CEO, Liam, who knows direct mail inside and out. The setup here is simple. I ask the basic questions. Liam comes with the knowledge. So no buzzwords, no promises in this podcast, no sales pitch, just actually how direct mail works, what it costs, and what your customers do when it lands. So let's get into it today. Previous episodes, we've concentrated a lot on the nitty-gritty of direct mail, the verticals that are included in there. But let's talk a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of the actual postcard itself, and let's talk a little bit about the design. So what separates a postcard that I would read from one that ends up in the trash?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is have a clear call to action and don't put too much on the card. I think oftentimes in advertising and design, you try to put too much information on the piece, and at the end of the day, you need a hero offer that stands out. A recipient needs to understand what's on that postcard in 5 seconds or less, and ultimately put out a simple piece that has a captivating offer. And captures attention, and don't worry about the details. 1 5-star review to highlight is fine, but you don't need to have 20 lines of information and fine print. That's gonna turn people off.
I think a lot of designers tend to cram so much information in because they feel like, I've got this space. I want to utilize.
I want to fill it.
Yeah, I want to fill it.
Yeah.
But if you're a person that gets mail, and every one of us walks in the mailbox and grabs mail in the mailbox, you pull it open and you look at it for a couple seconds, almost like a 3-second rule, if you will. You look at it, you look at what the offer is, you move on to the next piece. No one's spending 5-10 minutes looking and examining that mail piece. So I totally get the want to cram everything on a postcard, but I think in this case, less is more.
100%.
What type of call to actions actually get used in direct mail pieces? I know we do like phone calls, URLs, QR codes is one of the things that I see all the time. What actually gets used and what works well?
Yeah, as you know, Sergio, I believe that before you spend $1 on marketing, you're wasting your money unless you have attribution set up correctly. We generally find marketers that are doing it the right way are using a few tools to track the performance of their campaign. The first is call tracking numbers, where you have a unique phone number that's associated with that campaign, and you can see exactly how many calls came in that were associated with it. The second is a QR code and a unique landing page. So you should have a unique offer URL that could be in a QR code, so it's easily scannable. So you can see how many landing page visits came from a postcard or a letter. And then if you're a business with a point of sale system or a CRM, you should have an easy-to-use promo code or unique offer associated with that campaign. So when you go redeem that postcard or that gift card at the point of sale, it can either be scanned or simply typed in, and then you can see exactly how many sales are generated from it. And you can start to build that picture of what your return on investment is.
I think a lot of people forget the whole attribution part. And if anyone's watched the podcast or listened to the podcast, you'll hear Liam talk about attribution over and over again. And I think he says that without putting words in your mouth is because it's super important. You need to know where your customers are coming from.
Yeah, everybody likes to focus on targeting, but when you look at the biggest challenge that small businesses face in marketing, the first one's always new customer acquisition. But the second one after that is attribution. And oftentimes we are making irrational decisions about where to put our marketing budget. And we're doing it based off of feel or what's cool. You'll often hear buzzwords like targeting and things like that, of which it's important. But if you're coming up with these, 5 audiences that are hyper targeted, and you have no idea which one works better than the other, then I would argue, was that wasted? How do you know? So it's so important to have a good idea of how you're sort of setting up your attribution. At GrowMail, we've built it into the platform, so it's idiot-proof. You can send a campaign and then see exactly how many calls, landing page visits, or responses have been made. And we like to say that we're held to the same standard as a digital campaign, but just with direct mail.
Coming from the agency side, that's one of the things, we call it analytics, but same thing, attribution. One of the things that we spend a lot of time on is finding out where that information came from. You could have the coolest piece in the world, but if you don't know where it came from, it's a waste. It's a waste of time and waste of budget. Let's circle it back a little bit to the actual design part itself. We kind of figured out keep the message simple. What's the first thing your eye should land on a postcard or something that you get in the mail? What grabs attention?
I think it's the offer. At the end of the day, it needs to be attractive, and depending on the targeting of the campaign, be relevant. We do that in a number of ways. We can do one-to-one variable targeting. So each individual piece could have the person's name and an offer that's unique to their household. So if you're a dentist mailing to a home with children, you can have something that would be relevant to that consumer. You may also want to think about if you're sending to a list or a neighborhood that has existing clients, are you putting in a different offer to somebody that has already been to your business versus a very special offer to incentivize someone to try it for the first time?
Yeah, something to watch for. Yeah. Definitely something I've never considered. When it comes to design, and we talk about direct mail, I know there's different products that GrowMail supports. Is there something that separates something that would go from, say, an envelope to a postcard? Is there something that makes that decision?
Yeah, a lot of it depends on the vertical. So, for example, financial service providers often find that the envelope converts at higher rates than a traditional postcard. It also depends on what type of personalization and information is in there. Obviously, if you're a healthcare provider, sometimes you can only do it in an envelope because you want to keep that person's privacy intact. It really depends on the vertical, though. It really, at the end of the day, the biggest thing here is to try both and do small pilots and then scale up the one that works best.
When it comes to actual design itself, I know, like, if I go to growmail.com right now, I can find templates for whatever vertical that I'm in. Are templates a shortcut or a trap or something that you should be concerned with, or are they good to go?
I think templates are a great thing. All of the templates on GrowMail have been proven to be to work in the industries they served. And when you think about a template, it's really just a starting place. It takes 5 minutes for either you or our team to personalize that template to your business. So we can, make sure that it fits your brand identity by changing a few colors, while overall having the look and feel of something that has proven conversion rates in the past.
Walk me through the actual process. Let's say I have a business, I go to growmail.com, I don't know what to do. I want to send 1,000 mailers somewhere to something, but I don't even have a design. Like, walk me through the process of what a customer would do to get going.
Yeah, I think we have two types of customers. The first is they don't want to deal with figuring it all out. And in those cases, we have a marketing coach that you can live chat, you can call, you can email, and they will do everything for you, from selecting the right audience to getting a design that will work well for your business and generate new customers. And then the second way is for the power marketer out there. We try to build software that makes everybody a data scientist without knowing how to be one. So within a few minutes, you're able to use our tools that are built so that a 15-year-old could quickly leverage them and figure out how to target the right homes the right people, and intersect that with a good design. Whether it's something that we build for you, you bring your own content, or you use one of the thousands of templates that we have available on GrowMail that we know that works.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key too. When we talk a little bit about the templates, is there is some proven data behind it. There's a reason why the templates are up there. But I bring the question up not to put doubt in people's minds, but just so that people can feel comfortable and know that there's a reason why those templates are there, because they do work.
Yeah, they've been proven.
So I'm a new customer. We kind of talked about it a little bit here. I'm going to make a mistake. What mistake am I going to make, and how do I avoid making it?
I think the biggest mistake we see marketers across all channels make is they try to reach the broadest audience possible. You're going to have significantly higher conversion rates and a lower cost of new customer acquisition if you reach the same individual or household 3 or 4 times rather than tripling the size of your audience by 3 times. So at the end of the day, you should think about frequency in addition to reach. And in most cases, frequency is significantly more important.
Seeing a little bit of a theme with the frequency. I think the multiple touch points really do make a difference in direct mail and honestly in all types of marketing.
Most definitely.
People need to be reminded. We have short attention spans.
Yeah, and I mean, we have the tests and the case studies to prove it. Yeah. And to us, it makes no difference. But in order to coach the marketers that leverage our software, frequency is definitely one of the most important parts of the campaign, likely just after attribution and having the right design.
Cool. Great info. Let me circle it back to design here for one last question, and then we'll get it wrapped up for today's episode. If a designer is listening and you want to tell them one thing to fix of the thousands and thousands of mailers that you've seen, what would you tell them?
Think about one offer, highlight the business at a very high level, and keep a nice bright color scheme that makes it stand out compared to all of the other mail that consumer is receiving. Something
most people probably wouldn't even think about is just keeping it bright and cheery. And
less is more. Yeah. Less is more. One photo, one hero image, not 10 different little snapshots.
It's circling it back to the beginning here, that 3-second rule. You got to grab attention real quick. Well, great information, Liam. Thank you so much. That wraps this episode. Everything we talked about today here can be found at growmail.com in depth, including some of those templates that we talked about earlier. Those are there. You can look at them. They're free. Peruse them if there's something that you need. Of course, we do have designers on staff that can help design anything that you need. That wraps today's episode. If there's a topic you want us to talk about in the future, go ahead and send it our way. You can email it to cs@growmail.com. I'm Sergio. That's Liam, as always, and this has been the GrowMail Podcast. Sound smarter, grow faster. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.